Hey everybody. So if you're wondering why you heard a part of Hans Zimmer's musical score to The Dark Knight, that is because today I want to talk about my pre-Dark Knight Rises discussion. I want to talk about things that I hope director Christopher Nolan does in his final chapter in his Batman trilogy. So this video is all about things I hope happens in Dark Knight Rises and things that I hope that they avoid. Um, so first and foremost, guys, Heath Ledger was a legend as Joker in 2008 in The Dark Knight. So that being said, I'm curious to know how Bane will be as epic, if not more epic, than Heath Ledger was as the Joker, as his portrayal of Bane. How will Bane be a villain? How good of a villain will he be? How will his intellectual and physical abilities further conflict with Batman throughout the story? Um, I've from what I've seen in both trailers and just filming of the movie back when they were actually filming it, it looks like Bane has something against Harvey Dent. I saw like a shot of him like ripping Harvey Dent's picture in half at one point. Wondering if it'll be in the film. Wondering if what's his grudge against Harvey Dent and all that stuff. So I'm curious to know how Bane will be a villain in The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, how good will he be? How will he be better than Heath Ledger's Joker? If he can't be better, how will he be as good as, or how would he satisfy the fans enough to make Bane work for the film? And another question that's pretty big on my mind is how will Nolan wrap up the trilogy? How is he going to make the film play out where the fans are going to be happy enough to say, okay, I'm fine with the series ending right here? I mean, they can't go any further than that. Will Batman die? Will he be handicapped? Are they going to hint toward Nightwing? Are they going to hint toward a new Batman? So there's so many directions he can go in, and I really hope he goes in the right direction. I'll make everybody happy. And thirdly, I'm hoping that, and I've heard this in interviews, and I heard this floating around the internet somewhere, that he's going to connect the League of Shadows from Batman Begins with Bane or with Catwoman. So it's not quite clear yet who is going to be connected with what, but it's quite clear since Bane is the villain of the film, and since Ra's al Ghul turned out to be bad in Batman Begins, um, it might be hitting more toward that Bane is connected to League of Shadows more so than Catwoman. But either way, I hope the League of Shadows somehow is mentioned or is in the film somehow again. Um, and it's been rumored that Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul might come back as a flashback at some point in the film. So I hope they incorporate the League of Shadows into the storyline again, even though they really weren't mentioned that much in The Dark Knight. But because they are a part of the Nolan trilogy, with Batman Begins, I'm hoping they were able to reference that still in The Dark Knight Rises. Another question I have, or at least something I hope they do in the film, is I hope they play out Catwoman as both a good and a bad character. Because in the comics and in the TV show and in any form of Batman story you can think of, Catwoman is always either good or bad. It's never quite clear if she's which side she's on. I think it'd be kind of interesting if she was a little bit of both. Maybe she helps out Batman at certain points in the story, but maybe there's also a side of her that says, you know what, maybe she's really not on my side after all. Maybe she helped me, she warned me what was going on, but she might not be this good all the time, kind of a thing. Or maybe she's bad and turns good. I don't really know. Um, so I hope Nolan actually plays out the good and bad route for her. I think because her character was so undecided in the comics, I think it'd be interesting if her character was undecided on film too. Um, will there be hints towards Nightwing or Batman Beyond? And what I mean by that is in Batman Beyond, someone outside the Wayne family took Bruce Wayne's place when when Bruce Wayne can no longer be Batman. So I'm wondering if Dark Knight Rises is going to hint toward that, because that would be more along the line of Batman Beyond. Um, there's also been hints that Nightwing might be in the film too. Um, not so much Dick Grayson's in the film, or maybe not so much that Robin's in the film, but maybe at some point because Bruce Wayne is no longer Batman, if they're going that route, maybe they introduce someone else who would become Nightwing at some point who would take up the mantle as Batman. So either way, I hope it'd be kind of interesting if they hint toward that, or if they just do something along that line that would be kind of interesting. Um, Also, would there be a Justice League foreshadowing? There's been rumors floating around too that DC is trying to get a Justice League movie up and going since Avengers was successful for Marvel. Um, maybe at some point in the film they could say, "Hey, have you heard about what's going on in Metropolis?" Or "Hey, have you heard about this Clark Kent guy?" Or "Hey, have you heard about Wally West?" Or the Green Lantern or something like that. Maybe hinting toward that Batman would someday team up or meet or encounter or something with another DC hero from the same universe, since they're all kind of a part of this universe, but they're in different parts of the Earth, kind of a deal. So I think it'd be kind of interesting if they at least hint toward the fact that Batman might team up with a Justice League member at some point later in his life. I think that'd be kind of cool if they did that. Um, Also, the big question is, will Batman become handicapped? Will he get severely injured, or will he actually die in the film? Because Bane broke Batman's back in the comics, some are just predicting that, well, maybe he's going to break his back in the movie too. But maybe Christopher Nolan's going to be more extreme with this and actually kill Batman because of that. Or maybe he just becomes handicapped. Because also in the trailer, you see Batman's mask crumbling at Bane's hand, and Bane drops the mask on the ground. So it's quite clear that he either managed to get into his Batcave or something, because he clearly couldn't have just found that in a store somewhere. So I think there's a big reason why he's holding the mask and why Nolan wanted us to see that in the trailer. So it's quite clear that he does something to Batman, but we're not going to quite know until we see the film. And also, I'm curious to know how John Blake will be significant in the story. Some are claiming he might have changed his name from Dick Grayson to John Blake. Maybe some are saying that in the trailer he's next to an orphanage. Maybe he was an orphan turned police officer, and that will connect somehow with Batman. Or there's so many directions they can go with John Blake too. I'm hoping he's not just a "Hey, I need help getting Batman back. Can you help me get him?" kind of a thing with Commissioner Gordon. Um, so I'm hoping there's a huge significance with John Blake, because that'd be a really cool opportunity. Because really, the only thing that's been talked about online about the John Blake character is at one point in the old Batman comics, like the very first form of the Batman comics, like the really old ones with Bob Kane. Um, there was a cop whose name was John Blake, and really all that was talked about him was that he was a really successful student in school, and that he became a cop for Gotham City, and that was really all that was about him. Um, so I'm hoping there's a little bit more to John Blake to that than what I found out online. Um, so I think it'd be really cool if Nolan does something really cool with John Blake, or with Miranda Tate, played by Marion Cotillard. I don't know anything about that character, but then again, Marion Cotillard claims that it's an original character, and that um, even the Batman fans aren't going to know who Miranda Tate is when they see this film. So either way, guys, I hope to see all of you back here for my Dark Knight Rises review. I really can't wait for this film. I've been looking forward to this film since 2008, and hopefully Nolan will bring us a third and final chapter in the Batman universe that's masterful.